really happy our crowd showed out for our second biggest crowd of the year outside of Senior Day, our Kids Day, to come out and send those kids off. The three, Emory, obviously the career that she's had, the years that she's been here, didn't end the way she wanted, but we'll always look back on it as the whole that she was. Going to be a great – she wanted to be a Razorback first. That was a kid who had a Razorback red Mustang way back when. So to get to see her go out with her jersey is really a cool moment for us. Ella, just from the day that she stepped on the campus for her official visit with Colby, they were walking through the gym, saw her. Heard she was coming from Xavier, where I had coached before. We had some good conversations. And then for the next 5 months, every time I walked in the gym and heard a ball bouncing, it was usually her. She spent a lot of time in that gym. She was an exercise workout kid and asked to come in there, and she was in there a bunch. Then when the opportunity came at the end of the year, we'd had such a good thing with B last year. Colby had nothing but similar things about what a winner that Ella is, and she came right out and impacted us every single day in practice. So luckily we got to spend the year with her, and then of course I don't know where we'd be this year. That is, there'd been a lot of moments that I shudder to think what we would have been like had she not decided to come and be okay with the way that the first 3 years went and come here and want to finish as a Razorback. And like we've always said, once a Razorback, always a Razorback, and that gets thrown around too loosely. But we only had her for a year, but she will certainly be somebody that we support in whatever she does the rest of her career.
Hey, Mike, it kind of followed a similar script to the last time y'all were out, where you were making plays to hang in there, and then it just kind of snowballed. What do you think led to that in the third quarter?
I think they started playing. I'd like to tell you that it was something we did. They make you wrong. The second we were taking some things away. We did a good job defensively, taking some things away that they normally are able to do. Jenny's a great coach, and they've been in a lot of big games, and they made some adjustments. Thought when they came out and trapped us after I subbed Izzy out for, just a break in between the media, turned into a 6-0 run before we could even get a timeout call. I just thought they turned it up a level. That third quarter, we just could not stop the bleeding. We'd get a bucket, and we never could string two together, and they just shoot it so well. The second that you start paying attention too much inside, we knew we were going to play a lot of possessions, but, man, no way we can defend 92 shots. We just can't. We needed to turn them over more. They normally turn it over 22 times a game, and then we only get 14. So some of our activity, we got some tip balls. We just weren't able to turn them into turnovers and steals. So then I thought we kind of got a little discouraged. We've kind of got a 3-game season that we've been talking to our kids about, and I think that our kids, when we talk about living in reality world and understand it, they know when the league gets away, and they kind of started turning their focus towards the end there in that fourth quarter, and it got away from us on the score. But I think anybody that watched the games knows the score's not necessarily indicative of how we played for moments during it.
Yeah, you look down and you see Beers has 30 on 14 shots. What makes her just how does she alter whenever she's so efficient when she catches it to how you have to guard the rest of the team?
Well, she is as good a finisher as we've had in our game in a while. She does an unbelievable job of using her off arm, shoulder, the offside of her body to shield away any defensive player. It's easy to say, I'll go do this on her. It's different to have to go do it. They're such good passers. And then when they spread you with shooters, it is the absolute epitome of offensive spacing. They do an unbelievable job of that. They already had a good team. I mean, this is a team that won the Big 12 2 years in a row. They were already going to be good, and then they get the best big kid in the transfer portal to come. And I think that's what's, made them a team in the top of our league, and with the right draw, certainly a team that could make some noise in the NCAA tournament.
I guess Kiki last game, I think, had a great game and then only played 10 minutes today. Is that just kind of how it's going to go as she slowly works her way back?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's hard to be out conditioning-wise that long, and it's going to kind of go as, how she looks in those first 2 rotations. Does she have her game? Does she have her conditioning? Will she be able to keep up with the scouting report, not being able to be out there the full time? She had a great offensive game the other night, but the plus-minus was -34. And in a game like this when we needed defense as much as we needed offense, Jada Bates has been unbelievable in practice. I've needed to probably play her a little bit more. But, yeah, I think Kiki will kind of go as our offense goes to work her back in there. But it's really the defensive side of things that we've had some struggles with. So I think she'll get it back. For this last stretch, it's going to be with Missouri and Texas A&M. We certainly need somebody that can she's been about a 40% three-point shooter for us over the course, so maybe she'll come back and go 5 for 5 next game. We'll keep giving her chances. She just got to make sure she's playing on both ends of the floor.
And then the 2 early threes from Beers, did that maybe stretch the defense out even more than anticipated and kind of allowed some of the shots later inside?
Yeah, and I probably talked about those too much to them, and I know Coach Todd did too, because we had, again, prepared to make sure we were there and not let her catch it and shoot it. And there were a couple of defensive breakdowns. They weren't always the person that was guarding her as well. It's a team defense in transition. We had some kids that wouldn't sprint back, and our kids would have to stay too long on the post player and come out and get her. But, yeah, I mean, when you got a kid that's going 9 for 11 around the basket and then 3 for 3 outside the arc, that is a weapon. That is a weapon. And she's a good passer. She doesn't overshoot it. I was having flashbacks to when they had Courtney Paris back in the day. There's the dominating post presence that makes every one of those guards better. Verholst is, kind of runs their team and just is so solid. She's got so much experience in what she does. They play off each other so well. But it's a deep team, too. I thought their depth, kind of got to us in the third quarter. None of their starters had played at that point, even into 20 minutes. So those 3 things combined probably made it pretty tough. But, yeah, the start was discouraging because it was something we could have probably taken away, at least made her pass it and not get threes.
Yeah, Izzy's ability to get to the basket and just the things she does, how at her height has she been able to do this year?
I have no idea. I've sat there and I've tried to dissect it and figure out. It makes no sense to me. I would tell this. So I've talked to some other coaches rather than try to figure it out myself, and she is really, really good at giving you disinformation, like her body movement, her subtle fakes. She's got a quick first step, and then she's incredibly strong. She is the top of the scout. She is the second level of the scout and the third level of the scout on almost everybody we play. That's not me saying that. That is me repeating what I've talked to other coaches saying, that they are trying to make her pass it, and sometimes they still can't. It makes her walk a really fine line of, should I pass it or should I try to get fouled and shoot it? It is an impossible situation to put her in, and especially night in and night out. But, when you look over, the thing I look at, she finds a way to get 8 rebounds at that size too. The points, yeah, but she gets 8 rebounds, 4 assists, of which, I don't know, she should have 7 or 8 if we can catch and finish some shots. So I am baffled by it. It is, I've said this already, it has made me take a look at recruits in a different lens, especially kids that want to be Razorbacks. If they want to be Razorbacks, I have gotten away from the rankings and how tall it is to the top of their head. That doesn't matter. There's some things to measure people that want to be Razorbacks. So these last couple of classes and kids that are coming out of this transfer portal, if they call us and say they want to be Razorbacks, that's going to go a long ways towards us, because it taught me a valuable lesson. When she came out of high school, I would have never been able to predict. And I've given Robin and her staff at Missouri a lot of credit, and Des and her staff at Arkansas State for helping her along that way. I've always said when you get a kid their freshman and sophomore year, you're raising them through those hard times. You're getting them to go to class. You're getting them through the homesickness and all those things, and that's what Missouri staff did. And then at Arkansas State, she got to blossom and get full of confidence, and I think that's who she's become. And, the conversations that she and I have had, this last year, I'm so glad that she's going to have a Razorback jersey hanging wherever she works the rest of her life.
You've now made it through kind of the gauntlet of all the teams that are expected in the SEC to really have shots to make it second weekend and beyond. Now that you've been through it, the health of the league compared to any time you've been against it in the past?
Yeah, and I followed it. I honestly can't tell you that there was a season I didn't follow it closer than any league I was probably coaching in. It is the hardest it's ever been. I'm not saying we're the best league. I don't like when we get in that argument about. But this is the hardest time it's ever been to be in the SEC. It is. And I've talked to Coach Blair about it. I've talked to Vic about it. I've talked to people who have been in and out of it. I know we've had years where there are 2 or 3 teams in the Final Four, and that may or may not happen. But what I'm talking about is the 16-week schedule, the 16-game schedule, how it builds on you physically and mentally. And there's not a night that you look up, and I think the top teams are even saying that. There is not a night where you can just check it off. And we knew that when we saw who was coming in our sport. These are teams that consistently go deep in the tournament and consistently have all-conference performers. So it's not like we didn't know it was coming, but it was even more challenging than I think I could have predicted. So I hope our league does well in the tournament. No question about it. It's going to be a lot of great teams doing it, but we've seen a lot of those, and now we're down to a two-game schedule. I think Missouri just lost a close one to Ole Miss, so they'll be coming in with 2 wins. And then we have A&M. I think it's got 3 wins, and we've had one of those. So, I think we're all going to be playing with a lot at stake for us on where we finish in this league. Two wins can move you drastically up from where we were selected in the preseason. So, I've been doing things in a manner that made sure that we were ready to finish strong. So we'll see how we do in practice when we come back on Tuesday.
I guess when the game was close and every time, you guys would make a basket, it seemed like they would make a basket before the announcer even finished, calling it. Is it difficult to kind of coach kids to get back on transition defense after a make? If that makes any sense? Yeah,
no, it's a great point, and it is hard because we all tend to celebrate a little bit after we score, and you cannot do that. But I thought we had done a good job in preparing our kids for the 2 days in practice on how fast they come at you with film and stats. They play 10 possessions more than anybody else in the SEC. Anybody we've played all year, they played 10 possessions more. And that was top of the scout for us. And, there were probably 5 or 6 moments that happened. Like you say, we scored, and before John Williams can get his call out, they're either getting an open shot or drawing a foul. But, yeah, it is a challenge to simulate that in practice because they do it every day. We do it for a few days, and we've got our guys' practice team who do a great job, but they still can't simulate something that people have been working on for now, some of these guys for 2 or 3 years. But I think it's how good Oklahoma is. I think they have been pretty consistent all year with their pace. I'll have to go back and look, but, like I said, they've got 92 shots counting their free throws. And that's 94 points on 92 shots. Anything over 1 in our game is good, efficient offense. But I thought we had some positive moments. There will be enough possessions we can go back and show them, say, look, when we did it right, you could have stopped them a little bit more. So I think there's still positives to build from, but we'll move on pretty fast because we got to get ready for Missouri. All right, thank you all.